Today's class is about Introduction to Endocrinology, and I am your coach, Dr. Mudassar. So let's begin. So you must have seen that each and every organ system contributes in some way or the other for maintenance of homeostasis. What is homeostasis? It is the maintenance of constancy of internal environment around the cell, around each and every cell. What all organ systems contribute? For example, cardiovascular system. It transports oxygen and nutrients to the tissues away from the cell. Respiratory system, on the other hand, supplies oxygen to the tissue and removes carbon dioxide. Urinary system excrete the nitrogenous substances and other waste systems, other waste and toxic things from the body. Musculoskeletal system helps us to move from place to place to maintain our homeostasis, like moving away from the hot environment or moving away from the extremely cold environment. And then integumentary system maintains the body temperature and protects our internal organs. All these organ systems are again under the control of two systems, two regulatory systems, the nervous system and the endocrine system, which together act together to coordinate the function of all body systems. Now, what is this endocrine system? Yeah, before going to what is endocrine system, let us consider what is the difference between the two regulatory system, the nervous system and the endocrine system. If you see closely, nervous system acts within seconds, whereas endocrine system acts from within seconds to hours, or it might take even days for it to come into action. The duration of action when compared to endocrine system in nervous system is very brief. It acts for about milliseconds. Now the nervous system regulates the different parts of the body through its nerves, which innervate the muscles, the glands and other neurons. The endocrine system, on the other hand, it regulates the functions of each and every cell throughout the body. Nervous system acts within few seconds, whereas endocrine system takes seconds to hours or even days. And the duration of action of nervous system is very brief, lasting for about milliseconds, whereas endocrine system, it regulates, its regulatory action lasts for seconds to days. So that was the brief difference between the two regulatory system, that is nervous system and endocrine system. Out of these two, we are mainly concerned with endocrine system. What is endocrine system? Endocrine system is constituted of all the endocrine glands and hormone secreting cells. Now, what is endocrinology? So endocrinology, you might be coming across this term nowadays, and it itself has emerged as super specialization. Now this endocrinology is the science of structure and function of endocrine glands and the diagnosis and treatment of disorders of the endocrine system. Now with the brief definition of endocrinology, now let us move to the types of glands. From our elementary school, we are learning that there are two main types of glands, the exocrine gland and the endocrine gland. Again, the endocrine glands are divided into major glands and the minor glands. Major glands consist of hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, adrenals, pancreas, gonads and the pineal gland. The minor glands are thymus, kidney, heart, lungs, stomach and small intestines. Last but not the least, placenta. It also acts as a endocrine gland. All these structures, they release hormones from them. Now, the hormone which is released, what do you mean by hormone? By definition, it is a specialized organic molecule that are synthesized by endocrine gland or tissue in response to specific stimuli and exert their precise effect on target cells. I repeat, there are four components in defining hormone. It is a specialized organic molecule. It is synthesized by endocrine gland or tissue. It is synthesized in response to specific stimuli, and it exerts a precise effect on its target tissue or cell. Now, what are the different types of hormones? First, circulating hormones and local hormones. How circulating hormones act? Circulating hormones are released from endocrine cells. They are released into the circulation. Via circulation, these hormones circulate. That's why they are called as circulating hormones, and they reach their target cells at a distant place and act on them. On the other hand, on the contrary, there are local hormones, which are again of two types, paracrine and autocrine. Paracrine hormones, they are released from paracrine cells into the interstitium, which act on the target cells which are in close vicinity or nearby the paracrine cells. Other type of local hormones are autocrine hormones. Autocrine hormones are the hormones released from the cells which act on the same cell. Auto means self. So the hormones released from the cell acting on itself are autocrine hormones which act on autocrine cells. Now let us see the chemical classification of hormones. Based on chemical composition, hormones are classified into lipid soluble and water soluble. Lipid soluble are again classified into steroidal, thyroxine and nitric oxide. Steroidal hormone examples are progesterone, estrogen and corticosteroids. And you are well aware about the thyroxine hormone, that is T3 and T4. Another lipid soluble hormone is nitric oxide, which is released from endothelial cells. Water soluble hormones on the other hand are proteins, amino acids, amine hormones, example catecholamines and eicosanoids. Eicosanoids are the hormones released from inflammatory cells. Now why do we classify them as lipid soluble and water soluble hormones? You will come to know in the further part of my class. So before going further, we should know how the hormones act or what is the mechanism of their action. So first, there is a signal molecule or hormone is released from the endocrine gland. It binds the receptor. It activates intracellular molecules in the target proteins and then brings about a response. Now, the lipophilic hormones or lipid soluble hormones act differently from water soluble hormones. Lipid soluble hormones, they directly penetrate the cell membrane and act on the receptors present inside the cell. Few lipid soluble hormones have receptors inside the cytosol, example steroidal hormones, and few lipid soluble hormones have receptors in the nucleus, example thyroxine. Water soluble hormones always have receptor over the cell membrane. These water soluble hormones, they act on the receptor present on the cell membrane, which is generally a G protein coupled receptor. This G protein coupled receptor, when it is activated by the hormone, water soluble hormone, it generates cyclical AMP. Now this increase in cyclical AMP, it activates protein kinases. These activated protein kinases, they activate different proteins by phosphorylating them. And accordingly, millions of proteins are phosphorylated, which cause the reaction that produce a physiological response. So that is the basics of how hormones act or mechanism of action of hormones. Now moving on to regulation. Hormones secretion is very meticulously has to be regulated. As I have stated earlier, they act for a longer period of time. So their rate of secretion and their concentration has to be very meticulously regulated. This regulation is done by three mechanisms. Number one, I would say rhythmic mechanism. The best example for rhythmic mechanism of regulation of hormone is The regulation of progesterone and estrogen in a rhythmic manner based on the circadian rhythms, which occurs rhythmically every month in the monthly cycles. What are they? Yes, they are menstrual cycles. So during menstrual cycles, the estrogen and progesterone levels, they increase and decrease based on the circadian rhythm. Next is humoral regulation. Humoral regulation is done by humoral factors, the factors present inside the blood. Example, calcium concentration and pH. Calcium concentration regulates the levels of parathormone and calcitonin. That is the best example of how humoral factors regulate the hormone secretion. The moment calcium concentration is reduced, a lot of amount of parathormone is released. Next is the most important mechanism is feedback mechanism. This is the main mechanism which is prevalent in all the hormone systems. That is feedback mechanism. Again, it is divided into two types: negative feedback mechanism and positive feedback mechanism. First, we will see negative feedback mechanism. In negative feedback mechanism, the stimulus to the endocrine gland causes the release of hormone, which brings about which acts on the target, which brings about a physiological effect or produces a circulating component, which suppresses further release of hormone, or in other words, it gives a negative feedback to endocrine gland to reduce or suppress the further release of hormone. This is called as negative feedback mechanism. So what is negative feedback mechanism? It is a mechanism in which the hormone released produces a physiological effect or circulating component which further suppresses its own release. On the contrary, there is another mechanism which is called as positive feedback mechanism. In this, the stimulus causes the production of hormone from the endocrine gland, which acts on the target tissue, which produces a physiological effect which enhances the release of hormone from the parent endocrine gland, which has caused the release of hormone. So here it is opposite to negative feedback mechanism, in which the product of hormones or the physiological effect caused by the hormone enhances the production of hormone. So with an example, I'll explain here. Here the example of ovulation is given. From hypothalamus, in a rhythmic manner, GnRH is released, gonadotropin releasing hormone, which causes the release of luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone acts on ovary to cause the release of large amounts of estrogen. Now this estrogen again acts on hypothalamus and anterior pituitary to increase or to enhance the release of luteinizing hormone. This is how, in a positive feedback mechanism, the more and more LH is increased, LH release is increased, which causes LH surge until it causes ovulation or release of ovum. Now going further to hormone disposal. As I have said, whatever hormones are released has to be regulated, and then there should be a proper mechanisms for disposal. How are they cleared from the plasma? Let us see. Number 1, by metabolic destruction by the tissues. Number 2, by binding with the tissues. And number 3, excretion by liver into the bile. Number 4, last but not the least, excretion by kidneys into urine. This is how the hormones are disposed of. Any questions and new ideas are most welcome. I think you have understood what is a hormone, what is endocrine system, what is endocrinology, and today we have discussed even what are the different types of hormones in this class, and also how are they regulated and how are they disposed. Thank you.